Today on Call Out, Nelson SAR teams up with a psychic in the search for a missing woman.
If there was a chance it would work, we were willing to give it a try.
And later, Canadian Forces SAR helicopter pilot candidates fly high-tech simulators and perform a live hoist from a moving vessel.
So we know we're going to blow that boat around a lot. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Saturday, 3 p.m., early spring. Nelson SAR is called out for the second time now to search for a young, despondent female who's been missing for 6 days. The woman's car was found abandoned in a parking lot near a popular hiking area. Today's search is based on some new information.
Well, we were told by Nelson City Police that a psychic had communicated with the subject and that her body would be found in this area.
That psychic is local resident Norm Pratt, who felt compelled to get involved after following the case in the media and then hearing from the subject.
I started feeling like this girl was dead, that she was in spirit, and pretty soon she was coming to me and actually communicating with me and asking me to find her.
Norm places a call to the detective in charge of the investigation.
After 6 days into the investigation, they basically exhausted all the usual avenues. They'd used search and rescue teams to go look where this girl's car was found. They'd had a helicopter with an infrared actually to try to pick up body heat. They took in a dog handler from the RCMP with a search dog. So he was really kind of open to anything. And the moment that I called him, he had just made the decision to try to find a psychic.
This is Norm Pratt calling.
When he went to pick up the phone, I was on the other end of the line.
I have some information that might be of service.
The day before I phoned the police, I had a vision of a helicopter flying over this mountainside. And that's what we did. We went up and sure enough, I did recognize the area from the air and saw where I felt this girl was. We threw some flagging tape out into the trees around it so that the detective and I would be able to find it when we did a ground search. So we basically bushwhacked up through really dense old growth forest, up a steep mountainside, what started out as knee-deep snow and became thigh-deep snow pretty quickly. And when we did turn around and come back, I felt her telling me that I'd walked right past her. And we tried to retrace our steps, but it was really hard to find even our tracks in the snow because there were a lot of elk and deer tracks and it was kind of broken up where we were.
Norm suggests they bring ground SAR back in to do a detailed grid search. For Nelson Search and Rescue, it was the first time the subject's point last seen had been determined by a psychic's vision.
Hey, it was different, but if there was a chance it would work, we were willing to give it a try.
The coordinator of search and rescue wasn't incredibly pleased when he found out that the search area had been determined by a psychic.
The oddest part really was he wanted us to search higher and higher in deeper snow. Typically, subjects take the path of least resistance. They go downhill, look for shelter.
They went in and they did a really good grid search of the area and they went right up basically into the area that I designated.
And found nothing. Norm begins to doubt himself.
When that search was finished and they hadn't found anything, I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong and, could be wrong. And that's not what this girl was telling me in spirit or what I felt, but it's easy to question yourself, especially when there's no results to show for what you're doing.
Nonetheless, Norm continues to search on occasion, sometimes alone, sometimes with the Nelson police detective, who still believes in Norm's intuition.
Other people had sort of given up on the investigation, and he and I were basically keeping it alive and wanted to do everything we could to find her.
Norm keeps hearing from the girl, feeling her energy.
The feeling of energy building up is like when you have somebody pestering you to some degree, where if you're not paying attention, they're going to keep at you and they're going to keep trying to get your attention. And it was like, I need to do something or I'm not going to be able to sleep.
It's now late fall. Norm has looked for the missing woman often, and today prepares to go out for his last search of the year.
I could feel energy sort of coming up again, that it just felt like before it snows again, before winter, I need to go in there and take a look for this girl. We don't want to leave her up there for a whole winter.
Norm put something special in his pack.
Just prior to that, the detective had given me a box of this girl's belongings so that I could sort of handle them and get a sense of her, and that didn't really work for me, but I decided to throw a shoe of hers in the backpack. It was interesting that he was willing to give me the box because he said normally we don't release any sort of evidence to the public or anybody. But at that point, he and I had probably gone on about 5 or 6 different searches together, and you definitely form a bond.
Norm heads out on the search with a friend. Unlike search and rescue teams, however, he quite willingly allows himself to get lost in the woods.
In getting lost, I'm not using my mind anymore. It's like I've sort of given up. I'm sort of just surrendering it over to, the intuitive process and allowing myself to just be guided.
Then, it happens.
Lo and behold, as we were hiking through the woods, I found a shoe. And I pulled the shoe out of my backpack and looked at this shoe on the ground, and they were the same size. It was a girl's shoe, and I knew immediately it was hers because the energy got so intense at me finding that shoe that I started to vibrate and then started to cry. It was just so intense to find, and we'd been waiting for that for a long time.
It seems the girl had trudged through the ever-deepening snow up into the forest, then taken off all of her clothing at the base of the tree.
One of the things that she told me was that when she did that, she had hung her blue coat over a branch to flag my attention. When we found her stuff, that coat had fallen onto the ground, but it had a branch right through it. You could see on the tree where the branch had broken off over time, probably got wet from rain or something. Underneath the coat were her clothes all neatly folded.
The police document the evidence. A week later, Norm returns with the detective to search again. This time, they find a bone.
Intuitively, I knew immediately it was a femur because my legs started to vibrate. So I told the detective, this is her. This is her bone.
DNA analysis eventually confirms this. The very next day, snow falls heavy and winter begins. The following spring, Norm and the detective are out searching again. This time, things move very quickly.
We were in the one area kind of searching through some pretty heavy undergrowth, and I saw a stick on the ground, and the way it was shaped, I thought it was a rib. And I leaned down to get it and realized, no, it's just a stick. But right away, the detective looked about 5 feet away from where I was and pointed and said, that's her.
The girl has been found. It's not a happy ending, but like all SAR recoveries, it brings some closure to the family and to those involved in the search. Norm has given kindly of his time and is here to help.
I've been really pleased to be able to volunteer and give my time to assist with different missing person cases, but I've worked on cases where I wasn't able to get anything and we weren't able to find the person, and they still haven't been found. But anytime I ever work with somebody that has what I call passed into spirit, they never go away. This girl comes to me all the time, comes to me today, comes to me right now while we're speaking.
Tuesday, 8 a.m., Royal Air Force Base, Benson, England. 3 Canadian search and rescue helicopter pilot candidates are here to fly a highly sophisticated $25 million full-motion helicopter simulator. It's part of a demanding 3-month course for experienced pilots training to fly the Cormorant, a helicopter dedicated solely to search and rescue in Canada. 2 months into the course now, and the pilots have logged several hours on the Cormorants at CFB Comox on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, perfecting a steady hover and hoisting SAR technicians in and out of confined areas. They've also practiced in the cockpit procedures trainer at 442 Squadron, but it's no match for the full-motion simulator. With its state-of-the-art graphic and data displays, hyper-realistic sound and motion response, and 270-degree wraparound environments providing a full range of flight training scenarios. From takeoff, landing, and normal flying situations to adverse conditions and severe emergencies, lessons learned here translate into success and survival on search and rescue missions back in Canada.
Canadian search and rescue pilots come and see me every 6 to 8 months, and the nature of the simulator sessions here is to cover emergencies that we can't cover in the real aircraft. So things like engine failures, fires, transmission failures. So it gives us an opportunity to control the aircraft in stressful situations and making sure we handle the emergencies in an appropriate fashion.
Today's emergency, Captain James Luce must deal with a tail rotor malfunction. The anti-torque pedals are jammed, making the helicopter difficult to steer.
No, pedals still unresponsive. Okay, I'm going to put those back in.
It doesn't happen often, but the result can be deadly.
Okay, so
Being prepared is half the
does that
battle.
improve the situation at all? No, pedals are unresponsive. Okay, so we'll clear that.
The purpose of the tail rotor is to counteract the effect of torque on the helicopter as the main rotor turns. The tail rotor pushes against the force of the horizontal rotation and effectively points the helicopter in the direction of travel.
901 requesting immediate landing runway 19.
If the tail rotor stops working, the helicopter will begin to spin out of control. The pilot must perform an auto-rotation. First, he will ease back on the engine power, slowing the rotation of the main rotor blades and lowering the torque so the helicopter will be less inclined to turn, or yaw. Then, he'll feather the angle of the main rotor blades to maintain lift and avoid dropping too quickly, while gliding the helicopter in for an emergency landing. The higher the altitude of the helicopter, the more precious seconds the pilot has to take evasive action and survive.
Well, it's pretty realistic training. It's nice because when you do an emergency, you're not just pretending to push the switch to say, I would be doing this. You actually get to do it. And we take the emergency to a full logical conclusion.
Generally speaking, by the time they leave the scenario sessions with me, they will be brought up to a level 3 on all the emergency situations they encounter. And a level 3 means they might make some minor errors during the procedure, but nothing that ruins the effectiveness of how they're handling that emergency.
Over there, right. You're 42 knots. Try and duck that nose forward. 6 feet, 5 feet. Touch it down.
So we've got a pedal jam in the hover here. So is it working? Nope.
In simulator number 2, pilots Captain Will Livingston and Captain Jay Hall are also dealing with stuck tail rotor pedals, but they are holding in a low hover, which leaves less time to deal with the malfunction.
You're going to see what the pedals are doing. You're going to touch the micro switches to see if that works.
Cormorant instructor Captain Stu Irvine, who has accompanied the students to this training facility in Britain, helps the pilots work through this emergency scenario.
So there you go. You do have some control there, all right?
It's all about diagnostics, troubleshooting, problem solving, and understanding exactly how the Cormorant works. During an actual in-flight emergency, these procedures must be done instinctively.
Approach speed went from the left.
The most difficult sim thus far was the tail rotor malfunctions, just because of the nature of the types of flying and the precision involved with some of the maneuvers.
25 feet.
It's a great opportunity for us to come over here. Just trying to take as much as I can from all these sessions. We're seeing a lot of new emergencies, and it was a lot of fun.
The pilots return to Comox, where Cormorant pilot candidate Captain Jay Hall is about to attempt his first live hoist from a moving vessel at sea. The exercise has 3 components: a simple hover, a hover with an empty hook, and a hover with live personnel on the cable. Jay must ace them all.
Once we're committed, we'll make a right-hand turn for our circuit. Any questions? What does committed mean?
On Jay's left and watching his every move is the aircraft commander and Cormorant instructor, Captain Stu Irvine.
Okay.
He teaches me on the ground, we brief, and then we go up in the air and he'll demo it and he'll show me how it's done, and then it's monkey see, monkey do, and then while I'm doing it, he's just giving me tips and pointers to make it better and make it easier. once you get to a certain level, you know, if things are going well, he'll sit there and hopefully he won't have too much to say.
15 kilometers offshore from CFB Comox in the Strait of Georgia, the Cormorant meets the MV Albatross, a Canadian Navy vessel assigned to today's exercise. At the helm of the vessel is Petty Officer Second Class Michel Tremblay.
I would say we do this at least 3-4 times a week. We do at night as well.
Also on board the vessel is Cormorant helicopter pilot student Captain Will Livingston, who will observe this challenging rescue procedure from a different angle.
So for us, it's an opportunity to see the effects of the helicopter on the boat, what the SAR techs are doing, as well as what the FD are doing, all from a different perspective.
They like a bit of wind, so they always do the exercise with their nose in the wind. So we're gonna face the wind going to this direction, and no, today's nice. There's a bit of wave from the wind of yesterday, but that's about it.
And you will get to a point where you'll get over top of the boat and you will lose references with the boat. So, immediately call lost contact. Okay. That lets the flight engineer know you can no longer see the boat. Yeah, okay. All right?
The effect of the Cormorant on small boats is considerable. The intense downwash from the helicopter's rotors actually blows the vessel off course, making it even more of a moving target for the pilot.
Depending on the pilots, if they're new, they're gonna push us a bit more, but if they're good pilots, usually training goes pretty well.
The helicopter's hovering beautifully right here. We're following the boat. We're not going anywhere from it, all right? Just little pressures, little pressures.
Jay is successful at consistently hovering the Cormorant over the moving vessel. So instructor Captain Irvine gives the green light to move on to the next challenge, hovering with an empty hook directly over the back of the boat without it swaying back and forth.
Because there's such a dynamic relationship between the helicopter and the boat, we have to make practice runs. We do as many practice runs as it takes until the SAR techs in the back are comfortable that they're willing to put their lives literally on the line before the pilot takes them to the boat.
How do you feel? Good. Feels not bad, huh?
After several minutes of holding the cable steady over the deck of the vessel, the flight engineer and SAR techs are confident that Jay is up for the task of lowering personnel.
All right, I check. It'll be single, and you have the con, and when you're ready, we'll move us overhead. Yeah, this time.
A single refers to having only one person on the end of the cable. The flight engineer performs a safety check on a SAR tech and prepares to lower him on the hoist. In a real emergency, a stretcher or medical supplies might be sent down along with the medics. With an unobstructed view of the target, the flight engineer cons or controls the aircraft into position by calling out distances and updating the pilot on what the SAR tech is doing.
5, 4, 3, 2, steady forward, stretchers on the deck.
Today, the conditions are ideal for training, but on actual rescue missions, the Cormorant pilots must perform this maneuver while the vessel is moving erratically in heavy seas and gusty crosswinds. With Jay tracking the vessel in a steady hover, the second SAR tech is lowered down to the deck.
Hold up. See those two SAR techs down there? Yeah, you put them there. Working.
The SAR techs are hoisted up to the Cormorant one after the other. Captain Jay Hall is about to complete his first challenging training exercise over water.
All right, guys, we're done. You have control, Jay? I have control. Turning right, take me back towards the base, please. Yes. Turbo crew to front.
Albatross, copy. You guys have a nice flight. Have a good weekend.
Works. You too. Cabin area secure. Rescue doors pinned up and SAR check is complete. Clear to fly. You're right to fly, sir.
With the cabin and crew secure, Jay pulls the Cormorant up out of the hover and heads back to base, where instructor Captain Stu Irvine will review his performance.
The exercise this afternoon was to see how he handled boat hoisting. This is his first attempt at it. The conditions were good, so the boat wasn't perfectly calm. It was moving around a little bit, and he did really well.
It was challenging. It's probably the easiest boat I'll ever do. It was big, nice and stable, and there was absolutely no sea state out there whatsoever, but it was a lot of work. It took me an hour and a half to get it in, but got her done, and it's Friday, so we're going to go have a beer and probably watch some hockey now.
During the last month of the Cormorant pilot course at 442 Squadron, all 3 candidates went on to master boat hoisting and completed numerous training missions at night. Each candidate successfully qualified as a first officer and is now flying a Cormorant helicopter on search and rescue missions.
It's good to be done the course. You know, you work hard to get to this point, and it's finally came, so it's good. It's good to be part of the team. So far in the 2 weeks I've been operational. I've been up to Sitka, Alaska. I've seen Whitehorse, and we did a mission out to Bella Coola. So it's been exciting.